Angela, the floor is yours.
Good morning again, and thank you. Our guest this morning is Rotarian David Antrobus. He is a professional mechanical engineer, a brewmaster, marketing professional, and manager by training. He is now semi-retired, and after working in the petroleum industry for 28 years, marketing and distributing petroleum products throughout the Caribbean. David has been a Rotarian for over 25 years. He was inducted in the Rotary Club of St. Lucia in February or March 1996. On his relocation to St. Martin in 2001, he immediately joined the Rotary Club of Mid-Isle. In 2002, he and his wife, Denise, ran a successful fundraiser for the club in which they were experienced from St. Lucia sojourn. That was the first Rotary annual treasure hunt. They have run that event for a number of years, the last being in 2015. Rotarian David has also served in every board position except that of the treasurer. He has been president twice. It was during his second term as president, which corresponded with the centennial year of the Rotary Foundation, that he actually ingested a large dose of Kool-Aid of the Rotary Foundation. Subsequently, he became the club's foundation chair the following year and the area foundation director from 2017. He gave up both roles last year in 2020 as he expected his relocation back to Barbados to occur at some time during the year, but COVID has not cooperated. Rotarian David considers the Rotary Foundation to be the best run charity worldwide and is an avid supporter both by his mouth and his pocket. As both, he and his wife are Paul Harris Society members and Major Donor Level 1. It did not take much effort from past District Governor Patrick Aduza to persuade him to volunteer as a technical cadre of the Rotary Foundation and is presently serving what he hopes will be his first 3-year terms in looking forward to getting more involved in the first minor assignment, which he has been recently assigned. Rotarian David became a cadre just as the role is being redefined in the implementation of the long-term plan. That is where he will be telling us about today. Rotarian David is married to Denise for the past 34 years. Denise is a member of the Rotary Club of Mid-Isle and a past president. David and Denise are the proud parents of 3 grown children, Tiffany, a doctor, Mercedes, a teacher, and Harry, a marine engineer. They became grandparents last year to grandson Bash. Outside of work, family, and Rotary, David's interest is gardening, stamp collecting, and more recently, Toastmasters. Please welcome Rotarian David Antrobus.
Thank you, Angela. You were talking about me. Dolly, have you given me privilege to share screen, please?
You can. I already made you a co-host.
Okay. I want to get this. Okay. The Rotary Foundation Cadre Technical Advisors. What's happening here now? Okay. As Angela did a fairly good introduction of myself, and basically, what I want to cover this morning are who are the cadre, what role do cadre members play, how is the cadre organized, and how you can find a cadre member. Um, for those of you who, I know this question will probably come later, how do you become a cadre? Well, the process basically is that you make an application to the Rotary Foundation and prove that you have the professional skills and technical expertise in one or more of Rotary's areas of focus. As you know, there were 6, now there are going to be 7, or in financial accounting. Once the Rotary Foundation accepts your application, before it is approved and before you are appointed a cadre, your district governor must approve the application, must approve that he or she has no objections to you becoming a cadre. My specialty that I was selected on that I volunteered on is water, sanitation, and hygiene, mainly to do from my engineering background. So who are the cadre? It's a group of volunteer Rotarians who possess the professional skills and technical expertise in Rotary's areas of focus or financial auditing to advise Rotarians who are planning and working on Rotary Foundation grant projects. One of the important things, especially now that the foundation is trying to emphasize, and this was never emphasized before the long-term plan, was that we are available to Rotary clubs and districts who are applying for grants to assist with the planning and implementation. The Cadre mission statement is the Rotary Foundation Cadre of Technical Advisors strengthens the impact of Rotary's grants by assisting Rotarians planning projects and safeguarding of foundation funds. I wish to emphasize the 3 main points. It is to strengthen the impact, to assist in the planning, and to safeguard the foundation funds. Cadre Global Membership. There are roughly 650 Rotarians from over 75 different countries who speak 80 plus different languages across the world who are cadres of the Rotary Foundation. And if you look at this map, the darker the blue, that is where the higher number of cadre exists. And as you can see, the main areas are India, where there are large wash projects and design and disease and prevention projects. North America and Canada, that is where a lot of the money comes from global grants, because a lot of those clubs have a lot of money sitting down in their in district designated funds, which they're looking to spend. And then in South America and Central America, where there's a lot of community and economic development grants being granted. Basically, at a glance, there's roughly 200 doctors, 200 medical persons, doctors, nurses, 150 accountants and auditors, 110 agricultural, microcredit, and economic development experts, 100 civil engineers, hygiene educators, and water sanitation professionals, 50 educators, and 40 mediators and peace builders. And as you can see, there are the 7 areas of focus, including the new one of environment. Environment is, you'll start to get global grants for the environment from the 1st of July 2021. There are already 70 members with the relevant professional backgrounds and experiences. And the 4 main areas that the grants are going to be given for under the environment would be renewable and clean energy, environmental health, watershed management, and food security. Just for a bit of information, Rotary has long supported activities that sustain the environment, and with 18 million in global grants over the last 5 years through the existing areas of focus have been granted. This basically will expand our reach and give Rotary members even more ways to increase our impact. Over the next few months, and it's already started, grant applications are being received in this area, but none will be approved till the 1st of July. Cadre members' activities. This is basically what Cadre are involved in. They serve as project consultants to Rotarians planning and implementing humanitarian projects. They review grant applications and assist the Rotary Foundation trustees with funding decisions. They visit the sites of the Rotary Foundation funded projects, global grants, programs of scale, district grants, and special initiatives and partnerships to evaluate implementation. They conduct evaluations and interviews for Rotary's grant model evaluation, and they perform program audits to ensure proper stewardship of foundation funds. The new area, previously before, you only heard of a cadre when you actually was awarded a global grant and the visitor came to check the project. That is not something that in the long-term plan now, they are trying to put on each project 3 cadre rather than 1 cadre, so that the projects will be spread wider and further apart. And the 3 cadre that they will expect is one who the foundation will appoint as the lead and who will maintain the lead. The other 2, one will come from the host club with the host district, and the other one will come from the major donor, the what's the correct word? Anyhow, and for example, if we did a project, the host district would be 70-20, and if our major donor was 69-60, one cadre would come preferably from 69-60 as well as one from 70-20. Now, not all districts have cadres. That's another point as well. So that is something that they are looking to change. The reason why the grant model has got better is because of the different reviews that have been conducted by I know you may not think that it's easier now, but I can tell you it's a lot easier. Back in 2006, we looked at doing a grant then, and in those days, they used to say it took 3 years to get a grant approved. Grants can be approved now in a matter of about 2 to 3 months, provided you have everything in place. And the 3 most critical elements is the community assessment, the proof in your application of the sustainability of the grant after the project is finished. And the final one is that how you are going to monitor it during and more importantly, after the actual project is finished. And those 3 areas are the 3 most critical areas. And I can tell you that if you send a grant in now, a grant application into the foundation now, and you haven't gone through a cadre, and it gets to the foundation, the area of focus representative at the foundation will look for the community assessment. And if the community assessment is there, he or she is not reading further. They are sending it back as they're sending it back straight away to you. You either have the community assessment done. That's the first thing that the foundation will look for. Community assessment is critical now for any global grant. What does stewardship mean to the Rotary Foundation? The use of Rotary Foundation funds must be done in a transparent and responsible manner. And anytime you're applying for a grant project, there are terms and conditions and of conflict of interest policy. The terms and conditions, each area of focus has a guideline, and that guideline you must follow in making the application for your global grant. Now, if you have a global grant that covers more than one area of focus, you have to decide which area of focus is your major point, and the major point is the guidelines is what you have to meet. So for example, so if you're doing a project that the major point is basic education and literacy, that you follow the basic education and literacy guidelines, even if it has a bit of water and sanitation involved in it. Covering more than one area of focus, it does not give you an advantage in getting the grant approved. They are looking at what is your major area of focus is actually fully covered in the grant. Proper grant management and financial compliance, of course, then is of course one of the Cadre issues for stewardship of funds. There are four different ways, there are four things at which the foundation looks at in terms of grants, and it depends on the value of the grant. All grants get a desk review. And remember, these figures that are here is the TRFL award amount. That is the amount the foundation is putting in. So that means that the minimum, of course, project that you will do is a $30,000 project, of which you will get maximum 15,000 from the foundation. A desk review is done for all values of any global grant. In terms of if it is over $50,000 from the foundation, you're going to get the interim monetary visit. That is before the grant is approved. There will be a visit. And if it is more than 200,000, you are going to get an advanced site visit. So in other words, you will get somebody to come and see what you actually want to do before a final decision is made on the grant. And those projects, at the end of them, there will be an audit of how the funds have been spent and that all the guidelines have been followed. Now, Cadre site visit activity between 2015 and 2020, there were 900 plus visits in 100 countries. The darker the green is where the bulk of the projects were done. You can see a lot was done in India. This is mainly to do with washing schools, which is water and sanitation hygiene. And there is also a good number done in East Africa, as you can see. And then in Central America, which has a fairly dark green as well, they are mainly, if you look, they're mainly community and economic development. This is very big generalizations, but I'm just saying this is where the grants are actually coming from, or where the money is actually being spent and therefore requiring visits. During 2021, this Rotary year, and it's expected to continue into the next Rotary year, all Cadre travel has been suspended. So they now do virtual visits. So in other words, there's Zoom meetings, photographs, you're actually questioned, and as a matter of fact, they are claiming that this is proven to be even a more thorough analysis of what actually is going on. And of course, as what I tell a lot of people, COVID is changing the whole, I don't think that after the pandemic is finished, there's going to be that amount of travel that used to be done for business. I think a bulk of it is all going to be done on Zoom or similar platforms, and only the absolute necessity where you actually have to get there are you going to go. The oversight and monitoring over and there are full details on how these virtual site visits are done. It's not just global grants that Cadre get involved in. They've been asked to do district grants and operational audits of the district grants. The Rotary Washington Souls Target Challenge, the Rotary Peace Fellows, grant model evaluation, the sustainability, beneficiary level interviews, and polio international water collaboration. Now, the program of scales is a new grant that has been issued, which is every year the foundation will give a grant which is worth over $1 million. This year, there were 7 applications for that reached the second round, which was which actually were then given the full analysis, and the winning of I don't know if you say winning, but the grant that was presented this year was to prevent eradicating malaria from Uganda, and that was a fairly full project. The Cadre long-term plan, which was done in 2020-2022, which is the main reason why I am here this morning, because the priorities from that going forward was that we were to clarify the structure and establish a simple organization structure. The 3 main areas: structure, engagement, and communication. So they wanted to clarify the structure, establish a simpler organization, and strengthen connection between Cadre members and Cadre leaders. Prior to 2020, Cadre were organized under the areas of focus. So someone in water and sanitation had no contact with anybody in basic education or literacy. The new structure involves a regional organization, which I will explain in the next slide. Enable active and purposeful engagement, provide more training to Cadre members. Now, before, Cadre got 1 training a year, which was the Saturday of the International Convention was set aside for training all Cadre. We now have every quarter a Cadre meeting, and in that there is always training. So in addition to the 1 day, you have a quarterly Zoom meeting, and training is conducted in that quarterly meeting. They increased the project planning assistance to clubs, which is what, as I said, it is now, and we are required to give clubs assistance once they ask for it. They have to ask for it. We are not to push ourselves on clubs or districts. And basically, before, we never got involved at that stage. And then, of course, the improved communication. And one of the things of the communication is they asked all of the Cadre to give this presentation, which I will let you know was not prepared by me, was sent from the foundation to be used as the guide for presenting to you, to all the clubs as they saw fit. The regional organization, it's done. This is a regional organization. St.Martin falls in the area of red, which is what is called North America and the English-speaking Caribbean. And as you can see, the Indian subcontinent is one single area alone, because there are a large number of Cadre in that area. Each regional organization has a regional organizer, and the one for United States, Canada, and the English-speaking Caribbean is Wade Namura. Wade is also the water and sanitation hygiene coordinator as well, for 2020 to 2023. And Wade has subsequently divided his area into 3, and the English-speaking Caribbean is headed by PDG, Patrick Adzua. The objectives basically of the regional organization was to accomplish the action plans in the long-term plan, strengthen the regional connections between Cadre members with club, district, and regional leaders, improve communication and increase collaboration opportunities, enhance regional knowledge sharing, and increase utilization of Cadre members. And I just put a note here, districts are not required to work with a cadre, but many districts are unaware that the cadre resource actually exists. So that's one of the reasons why they've asked us to do these projects. I can tell you that the communication has improved. We have a quarterly meeting. Besides the quarterly meeting with the foundation, we have a quarterly meeting in North America as well. How to find a cadre member? If you want to know who are cadre, you go on to Rotary.org, go under manage, go to club and district administration, select reports, and at the bottom there is a highlighted cadre member information report. You enter your district and you get a report coming out, which I will show you, the one for 7020 later. We have about 8 cadre in 7020. I put in some other districts and I was quite surprised to see that there is, according to that list there's none in 7030, although I am aware that there is a one in 7030, which is PDG David Edwards. But his name is not listed. It's very much similar. So I know that Caleb is also a cadre member as well, but his name is not even listed in 730. If you want to learn more, you can go to any of these on the Rotary.org. You can select the cadre technical advisors, and it basically gives you a summary of what actually I spoke about here this morning. You can contact the cadre leadership, and you can also email cadre staff. Cadre have 2 people in charge of us at the foundation level, and of course, who coordinate our work schedules, etc. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
The cadre is it just for district grants or for international? Like overall, any grant?
They're international. Cadre is not restricted to the district.
Okay.
What they try to do is if for example Sunrise did a grant, did a global grant, they will probably and you submit it, they will probably assign it to a cadre from 7030. They will assign 3 cadre to it. The lead cadre who would not come from 7030 or from the district that you are doing the grant with. So that lead cadre, he would be the lead. But joining him now, they will put someone from 7020 as well, and someone from the district that you are also doing, who are cadre, if there's a cadre in the district or close to it. The reason for this is so as to get everybody up to the same level of understanding and how the cadre should operate and how it should work.
Thank you. Anyone else? Questions, comments?
Yeah, I have a question,
Yeah.
President Dolly.
Yes, Mercy.
Yes, and my question to Mr. Antrobus is, how come Cadre is not well known within the district? Is it that over the years it hasn't been promoted, or are there other reasons why this seems to be not so well known within our 70/20.
It's not just not well known within 70/20. It is throughout the whole of Rotary International. I've been trying to find out where Cadre started from,
Mm-hmm.
and I have not actually found out fully where it started. But I know, for example, I never heard of Cadre till PDG Patrick approached me. Well, no, I'd heard about it. I attended a club of the Caribbean, of which PDG Diana's husband he is a cadre on the financial accounting, and he recommended to E Club of the Caribbean to do a presentation on cadre, and that was with Christian Pepperer, who was the main officer at the foundation. He is moving on now, but he did that presentation to the E Club of the Caribbean, and that was the first time that I had ever heard of cadre and what actually was cadre. After I watched that presentation, I did not think I was qualified to become a cadre. And I had a discussion with PDG Patrick, because I learned at that meeting, because at that time there were only 3 cadre in 70/20, which was um, 3 active cadre in 70/20, which was Patrick, PDG, Diana's husband, and another guy from Jamaica who was also in maternal and child health. I do not know the member. I do not know that member at all. Um, and Patrick said, "No, no, no. You go ahead and apply and let them make the decision. Put your qualifications in, but we need to have more people in 70/30, in 70/20." So I took him by the word and I sent it in. And to my surprise, I was accepted. And the next I know is that I got a notification from Patrick that they'd contacted him and that he had approved it. So that was how I ended up being a cadre. Um, Recently, what has happened is that they've said that it was not communicated out to the clubs, and hence they have the clubs and districts not using them. And before, what I got the impression from the other members was that cadre were held in suspicion because, for example, when they did that, when the big project that Rotary Club of St. Martin is doing, when the guide came for the advanced visit, I mean, I think a lot of people were surprised that somebody would come, but they come, and in those days, because the knowledge on how a grant should be put in, it ended up that cadre, when they came, they were finding things that would not let projects fly on. And that's the reason why now they're trying to say, let's get cadre involved from the ground, see what, make sure cadre is having all of this training, make sure that when the grant goes up, there's not an issue of it coming back for minor things. And I can tell you, I did a training um, late last year, of which the grant officer from the foundation presented a grant application. We did not know who it was, and we were asked to read it and to comment on it. And personally, I thought this was an excellent presentation. After we were, and I really couldn't find much, even although with the training, but I can tell you, in 15 minutes, she took it to pieces. And every point that she made was valid. There was nothing that I could argue back to say, but I think you're being unfair in that area. No, it did not follow the guidelines in those areas. And the 3 main areas that you always had is community assessment. And that is why before it never used to be a object, but Rotary Foundation has lost a lot of money because community assessments were not done. I think the biggest example they love to use is they built a whole series of wells for water for water in some part of Africa. And when they went back after the project was finished, the wells were all there, but the villagers were still going back to the river. And when they actually did the investigation, no community assessment had done, but the going to the river was also a social event. And they had piers, etc., and parks in place around the river. So everybody, the women preferred to go to the river for water, which was not clean, rather than go to the well. And they then had to turn around and change the whole project up and put actually community areas around the well to get the women to stop from going to the river for water and to come and get the better water from the well. And basically they said there's a prime example that the community assessment had not been done to find out what these people were doing. And I think that you would see, I don't know how many of you all saw Barry Rassin's presentation, PDPR ID's past international president Barry's presentation to the Sunset Club on hand wash. And basically I asked Barry how come they did not go for a program with scale grant and how come they didn't put the application. And Barry gave a very good reason why. Basically, they have to make sure that they get everything right in Haiti, especially with the community assessments. And that is why at the moment, Haiti has more than 1.2, what is being put into Haiti is more than 1.2 million US at the moment. At the moment in Haiti, the hand wash at the moment is, I can tell you this now, is hand wash has 2 grants already fully approved and in process. They have 2 grants that are in the application phase, and they have 3 more grants in pre-planning. And now each one of those grants is a minimum of $300,000 each. Okay, and part of the community assessments there is you're now getting people in Haiti to pay for water, something they never did before, but it is proven successful in one of the first grants that has been approved. People are prepared to pay for water. They don't have to walk the distance. And so that is why now a community assessment must be in place before you go up. One of the things they're saying though, and I'm glad you asked that question as well to Marcella, because one of the,
I should go out in the morning between 6 to 10 for a walk. But
Need
my
to
problem is
somebody
I
doing.
walk with no shoes.
yeah, as I was saying, Marcella, one of the reasons for that, I'm glad you asked that question. I lost my train of thought there. Sorry, forget it.
When you remember, you just give me a buzz. Thank you.
Yeah.
Irma had a question. You're on mute, Irma.
Yes, I was wondering if Cadre is an abbreviation for something, or is that just a name?
I think it's just a name. That's another thing that I've been trying to find out. And the other point I wanted to make sure is to let you understand is that a cadre is only appointed for 3 years. After the 3 years, they can be reappointed, but your application is reviewed every 3 years. So in other words, it's not an automatic, you're not cadre for life. You're appointed for 3 years and it usually is automatically renewed.
David, you were going to explain how does one become a cadre?
All right. As I said, the application, you put in, if you go on to the same Rotary.org, there's an application form on there. You fill that application form in, you send it up to Cadre, the Cadre at Rotary.org. and they then make an assessment based on your qualifications on that. They decide whether they will appoint you once, but they do not. They then, once they have decided that you will make a cadre, they then send it to your district governor, who has to agree that he is happy that it will be approved. And I know, remember what I was trying to say to Marcella just now, is that even although the district governors are involved at that stage, one of the challenges that is occurring at the moment, one of the things that, and I haven't had it because I think in 70-20 we are very open where it concerns that, but because of the fact that we've had Barry and people that have been involved with the foundation over the years fully to the point and know the importance of cadre, but some districts are actually challenging why these cadre, because basically the cadre do not come under the district organization. The cadre come directly under the Rotary Foundation organization. But hopefully these actual presentations will help people to have that we are not there to bite, as thing. This report here, I don't know if you can see it. This is the list of cadre in 70-20. And you can see there's 2 Jamaicans, which is Patrick, and this other member who has been on here for quite a while. Myself, Rotarian Angela, Robert Leger, Barry Smith, and Roger White. I also know that Caleb is, I can't remember Caleb's surname, from Haiti, is also a cadre because he gets invited to the North American meetings. So I don't know how up to date this report is in Rotary.org, but I took this out of Rotary.org this morning, as a matter of fact.
You're on mute, Dolly.
Or any other questions or comments for David?
Thank you for the presentation, David.
I just will show you two pieces of information which I have, which nothing to do with this presentation, but to do with the foundation, which you may find interesting. And this one, this is the amount of money that the foundation has granted for COVID-19 Pacific grant activity in the last 2 Rotary years. And this was at December the 16th, 2020. With 677 grants and $31 million just gone to COVID. Hence the reason why they stopped issuing grants at the end of March. And also the reason why the requirements for grants have dropped. Now it's no longer, the foundation is not paying as much more money into a grant application as they were previously. There's new regulations which were circulated in the district. And then this is the funding over the last 5 Rotary years up to 2019 in the various areas of focus. And of course, disease prevention and treatment is the largest, and that is mainly to do with polio. And then of course, then WASH, which is the water and sanitation and community government. I think those are, unless anybody has any other questions, I can call it off there. I hope you all found it worthwhile. I'm available to ask any questions if even necessary, if you think of something after.
Well done, David. Thanks.
I've always said the Rotary Foundation is almost like a rabbit hole. You always have something that comes out of it that's something completely new. Thank you so much for this presentation, David. It was informative. It was a part of foundation that I don't think any of us would have known if you hadn't made this presentation. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. So a virtual round of applause for David.
Yeah, my pleasure in giving it.
Welcome, DGE.
Morning,
Now,
everybody.
with that, we're going to go into our upcoming events. We have our treasurers meeting on April 22nd. Don't forget the walkathon, the diabetes walkathon on the 24th of April. And then we have our St. Martin do it on May 28th and 29th. For now, that is it. And remember, next week we do not have a meeting. Our next meeting will be on May 4th. And with that, I am going to close the meeting.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you all.
Hi,
Yes.
everyone.
Ah,
Nice to meet you.
ah.